All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do an exterior light check. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Four ways. Clearance lights. Brake lights. Tail lights. Can you please come to the front? The tester will make his way to the front of the vehicle, and then you run through the same lights again on the front of the vehicle. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Four ways. Headlights. And high beams. Can you please come inside the vehicle now? Alright. First thing I'm going to do is do my safe start. I'm going to put my seatbelt on. Make sure my seatbelt is attached properly to its holder. I'm going to make sure my seatbelt is not cut, frayed, or worn. I'm going to check my parking brakes. Make sure my parking brakes are set. I'm going to check my shift lever. Make sure my shift lever is in neutral and in good working order. The button is in the down position. I'm going to check my clutch. Make sure my clutch has 1.5 inches to 2 inches of free play. And I'm going to go ahead and push in the clutch and turn the key to the on position. When I turn the key to the on position, all my warning lights come on the dashboard, including my ABS light. And then I go ahead and start the truck. And all my warning lights go off, indicating everything's working properly. The first thing I want to do is check my mirrors, make sure that they're properly adjusted. I also want to check my windshield. Check my windshield to make sure there's no chips and cracks bigger than 1/4, and that there's nothing in my field of vision. I'm going to check my turn signals one more time. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Four ways. High beams. I'm going to check my steering wheel plate, checking to make sure I have no more than 2 inches of free play on a 20-inch wheel. I'm going to check my defrost. Make sure my defrost is working. I'm going to check my floor heat. Checking to make sure my floor heat is working properly. And they are. I'm going to check my windshield wipers and my windshield washer fluid to make sure they're working properly. And they are. I want to check one or both of my horns to make sure they're working properly. My air horn or my city horn needs to work. I'm going to go ahead and check my gauges. My tachometer is working properly. My speedometer is at 0. Technically it's working because we're stopped, but I'm going to check it again in a little bit when I do my service brake check. If I look at my oil pressure, checking my oil pressure to make sure it's between 40 and 60 psi. I'm going to check my water temperature to make sure my water temperature is between 175 and 200 at normal operating temperature. I'm going to check my voltmeter to make sure my voltmeter is between 12 and 14 volts. I'm going to check my fuel gauge, make sure my fuel gauge matches what we saw on the outside of the truck on my exterior pre-trip. And and I'm going to check my air gauges. Make sure my air gauges, normal operating pressure should be between 90 and 125 psi. I'm going to tug against my parking brakes. First, I'm going to tug against my trailer brake. I'm going to push in the tractor brake. I'm going to put it in a low gear. I'm going to gently tug against my trailer brake. Okay, it is working properly. I'm going to set the brakes on my tractor, release the brakes on my trailer, and I'm going to tug against it in a low gear gently to make sure that it's holding properly. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is do my labs test. I want to build up my air pressure to maximum pressure, about 120, 125. Alright, I'm going to shut the truck off and go put my chocks out. Put my chocks underneath the wheels because I'm on a flat surface. I'm going to put one underneath the front of the wheel. And I'm going to put one underneath the back of the wheel. First thing I'm going to do after I get back in the truck is I'm going to turn the key on to the on position. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to release the parking brakes. What's going to happen is I'm going to lose a little bit of pressure in my air gauges. After the air stabilizes, I'm going to hold steady pressure on the brake pedal. After the air stabilizes again, I'm going to count to 60. I can have no more than 4 psi of air loss in a combination vehicle, or 3 psi of air loss in a straight truck or a tractor alone. After holding steady pressure for 60 seconds, I have not lost more than 4 psi of air because I'm driving a combination vehicle. My next test is the alarms test. I need to fan the brakes, and I need my air alarm or buzzer to come on before the air pressure drops below 60 psi. Alright, warning light came on before the air pressure dropped below 60 psi. My next test, I want to continue to fan the brakes, and I need my brake buttons to pop out before the air pressure drops below 20 psi. Alright, both my brake buttons popped out before the air pressure dropped below 20 psi. I'm going to turn the truck off. I'm going to go pick up my chocks. Place them back in their cubby.
Yeah, I'm staying on the wheel.